that I've found while trying to use the editor. So this is my game player / maker written in Dart, so you can run it right from your browser. Let's make sure, there we go. All right, so let's reload it. For example, when I'm trying to edit the map and stuff, I found there are a couple of input boxes that I can't change. So I'd like to make those work again. So let's change back to this map. All right. So what I want to do is, let's say I want to add an event tile. So if I go to events, I click add new event. I want it to be right there, which is, I think, 1414. And I can't type in the box right here. Like, it won't let me change it. So what I think I need to do is go in there and see what my on-click listener or on-change listeners are, because it seems like those aren't working properly. So let's see if we can figure that out. So I go over here to the HTML. So I've got, and I can already see it. So on here, I'm missing these. I forgot the name of the function. Let's see, on input change. That's what I thought it was. Easy to say now, but. So that should work for those. And we've got these selects. I want to do the same things with those. So I like to do this because I don't like stuff getting too far over to the right, because then you can't see it and you might forget about it, or maybe there's an error over there and you'll scroll right past it while you're trying to find it. So I like to move things over to the left like this. So, and it's a little more, it takes up a little more room vertically, but I think it's worth it. All right, so I think that's as easy as just boom, paste, and paste. Look at that. So let's see if that actually works, though. That doesn't mean it'll work. So let's see, what we want to do is reload the page. All right, let's clear our console. I want to be, well, let's do it here. This is smaller, it'll be quicker. So then we go to add new event. Oh. There you go, look at that. That's funny. Some of my own code telling me what's wrong. It looks like it kind of worked though. See, this tile is half red, half yellow highlighted now. If I turn off some of the visibility, you can probably see it better. Not so much, but yeah. So that to me means that it's halfway implemented, but not fully. So that's on input change is the function that I need to do. And well, there you go. I've got a to-do for it and everything. So let's see. So I keep that. This is a little helper function I wrote that makes sure everything's in the right format, and it does that based on the classes that it has. So I have classes like number and decimal that mean that it has to be that data type in there. So let's see. So at the end, what we want to do here is update, and that will cause this to re-render. Actually, I haven't written it yet, but what that will do is cause this to re-render. So it'll, since I'm using React, it'll cause it to check what's changed and change the input values. So let's see. So all this is, since I don't really have much state in here, I just say set state, and that triggers the re-render. So if we go back here and here, let's try it again, see what it does now. It's really just a process of going through each bug one by one until you got none. Let's go to house, events, let's add a new event. Oh, that looks good. There, so 2 to the right of this guy. there'll be an event. And actually, so game event chain. I need to determine what will happen when I step on it. So if I go to the object editor and then I go to game events, let's add a new one. Just called house thing. That's simple enough. Let's see. What do we want to happen if we go in there? Battle chain, choice, warp. Let's see. Move, delay, fade. Let's call it a fade. Let's go normal to black, and then we'll fade from black to normal, and then we'll say that was weird. Just a random little test event to make sure it works. We'll give it a question mark because I think that's appropriate. Cool. So we'll have the screen fade to black and then back, and then it'll say that was weird. So if we go back to the map editor, we go to this events tab, and then, oh, see, it looks like it didn't save. 5, 2, and then we'll go to house thing. So that should have exported. Actually, let's manually look through this and make sure it really is here. There it is. I see it. So it's in the JSON. So since it successfully exported, let's make sure it's actually going to work though. So what you want to do is go to the player here. So you just copy this export JSON here. Hopefully my poor little laptop can handle this. Alright, so we don't want that. We want to paste it into here, then click load. So we should be running that version of the game now. Let's go make sure it worked. Exit our little apartment, walk past the store, walk past this little locked house. Keep going, dude, keep going. Oh, that's not good. I need to edit that map. That's funny. Keep going, keep going. Alright, we're in the house. Let's see if this event tile works. Boom, that was weird. That looked good. Cool, so I was able to add an event tile. And it'll run every time. That was weird. So one thing I noticed is I wonder if the event tile should not trigger until after you've stepped on it. So notice it faded before you walked on it. But that's a question for later. It works. I'm able to add event tiles successfully. So what else can we test? So we've got an event tile. Let's see. Let's do something a little quicker. Let's go to the apartment. So this is where you start out. This is you. This is the player you are when you start playing. So let's do something silly and weird. Let's see if I can remember how to do this properly. Oh, see, there's another problem. I am unable to change. It is changing, it looks like, but it's not triggering an update because that's the correct layer. So if we change it back to ground, you can see it replaces it. So it is changing, it's just not reflecting over here. So that's another bug we can work on. Let's see what happens when I go over to, let's see, what is that? Map editor tiles is where that goes. Those are radio buttons. Unselected layer change. So it looks like I've got a function for that. Cool, there you go. I need to do that. So that was a simple change. So now if I refresh, I'll have the new code. All right, let's go back to where we were. So we go to tiles. I want this one. Change it to below. There we go. That looks good. Let's see. These might have the same problem. We'll see. Nope, those look good. So we're going to click. No, I want this to be, actually, yeah, let's make it a layered encounter tile. So if you walk over here in the corner, there'll be some baddies. So it doesn't look like these are taking effect because it's not highlighted, but let's see. So one way I can test that is go to the select tool and click on it. Yeah, so that didn't work over here. Let's see if it works over here. Layered encounter. So that works. So there's another bug. All right, let's see. So let's go to those radio buttons, or actually those are check boxes, and see why they didn't work. Cool. All right. So these need to have an event and a handler on when they're changed. So I'm probably going to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is add a couple of variables in the main editor class, and what I'm going to do is change when these are clicked. So these will have like an on change. Let's see. So we've already got one on here. Let's see. So all right. So boom. So what we're going to do is, these don't have a value either. So let's go to the editor class. So what we need to have here is selected. Where am I storing? I'm trying to keep things consistent here. So this is stored in selected layer. Where am I storing that? Is it in the map editor? It might be in the map editor. That's even better. All right, so if I store things in the map editor, I can find it. I can do this. Selected tool, selected layer. All right, here we go. Static. Let's call it brush solid. Brush. What are the other ones? Layered equals false, and brush encounter equals false. So that just means when I brush, should the resulting tiles be solid or layered or encounter. Whoop, comma. There we go. So now what we do in here is set the value of those. So you have to do two things. Value is map editor dot brush solid. See, that's pretty easy. So now they'll start with the value. Every time they render, they'll have whatever that's set to. Pretty simple. Brush encounter. All right. And then on change is, it's going to scroll, isn't it? Yep, there it goes. This. There you go. And then that should be it for editing those inputs. And then up here, we need to just grab all their values and make sure they're set correctly. So brush solid equals dot get checkbox. Boom, another helper method I wrote. I love them. It makes it so much easier. I don't think about it once and then write code that does it, and then you don't have to think about it again. So what are these called? They don't even have the right ID, so good thing I checked. let's just call them what they are. Brush solid, brush layered, brush encounter. That's makes it nice and easy. Cool. Brush solid, brush layered, and brush encounter, and then these become the same thing. Cool. So what I have in there before was something to enforce that you can't have an encounter tile that's also solid, because it's worthless. If you can't walk on it, then you can't ever encounter a monster on it, but I'm going to ignore that for now. Let's just get it working. So let's reload. I'm going to lose my little tall grass thing. Try again. See if it works now. Nope, let's switch maps. Let's go to the apartment. The tiles, let's go to layered encounter, below. I'm gonna go there. Let's see if it works. Nope. All right, I know why. Map editor canvas unclick. So this is where, so I've created those values, but I'm not checking them when I'm actually clicking on the canvas. So what I need to do is actually take into account what those values currently are. Yeah, so these are wrong. So this needs to be selected layer. Cool. This is still stuck in the old way of doing things. So what I'm going to do is comment all these out and then wait for the errors to come in. There we go. So I'm going to do, come on, autocomplete. I want to be, no, autocomplete better. I want to be lazy. Not going to do it for me? Ah, you stink. Solid dot brush layered. Let's enter this down. See, it's starting to get pretty wide, so we're gonna do map editor dot selected layer. So do it on at X and Y on this layer. So that's the location. And then should it be solid? And then should it be layered? And then should it be an encounter tile, which means you can run into monsters on it. Cool. There's another to-do. I already had a to-do for it, so I guess I thought of it earlier. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that's just kind of how this goes. Find a bug, fix it, move on. I feel like a lot of newer developers kind of get discouraged when they just come up against bug after bug after bug, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. And that's not bad. As long as the bug you're working on keeps changing, you're making progress. And I guess as long as you're not introducing too many more, because that would also be very frustrating to just keep adding more and more bugs. All right, let's see if it works now. Hey, look at that. That is a layered encounter tile. How do you like that? All right, let's see if we can play it. Actually, ooh. So here's a bug or thing I probably don't have a bug check for, but if there are no battlers, so let's say we're gonna battle a water elemental, just level 2, whatever. That's good. So let's see if that works. So what we're gonna do is copy this and then paste it into here. Go down here, paste it, and click load. There, you can tell that it reloaded. There's my little green patch. Oh, so here's what layered means. See, he's in the grass, basically. So we gotta walk through that a few times until we run into a monster. Is it working? Oh, my poor computer can't keep up. Hope we don't have a bug. Come on. Come on. What's the problem? Ooh. Poor laptop. Come on, I believe in you. That's not promising. I hope that doesn't mean I made it into an infinite loop or something like that. Uh-oh. That's not good. Alright. Let's try it again, but let's have the console open first. So I'm going to open the console. Hopefully. See, my keyboard shortcut's not working. Alright. Boy, it's certainly fighting me awful hard. This is called Dartium. I know it says Chromium, but this kind of ships with Dart, and it's got a Dart virtual machine built into it, so you can run your code on it. Man, my poor computer just can't run it. It might work. Let's see. Let's try a new tab. Yeah, see, that's just taking forever. We're going to go back here. We're going to copy this. So there's the game. Alright, before I do this, let's make sure this is open. No, it's not going to open. That's a bummer. So that's a bug. It seems to be a bug with Dartium if I can't get it to open. That is not good. I think my computer's just having trouble keeping up. Well, that's not what you want when you're trying to test. Alright, let's see. Let's kill some of these tabs. Yeah, it's using up CPU. Let's go here. And then kill some of these. Yeah, I think it's just my computer trying to do too much at once. Alright. Poor computer. Can't keep up. I'd like to be streaming from my desktop, but I need to get a webcam for it. That is so weird. There it goes. Took its sweet time. Alright. So now I gotta copy this again. Paste it in there. Load it. Could not find blank in. Uh-oh, that looks like a bug. I wonder if that's a bug. It loaded it though. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Oh, I think I left some stuff in there. Encounter tile.dart, line 46. No, interesting. I think that means it didn't save the battler that I added. That might be another bug I have to fix. So that's that bug I was talking about where I'm not checking. Yeah, see, there's the what map is this? Uh-oh. There we go. That's a Chrome error. So, yeah, I think it's not checking. Alright. Delete. Yes, whatever. Delete. Yes. destroying this game just for the purposes of testing right now. I'm not gonna save it or anything, it'll be there. Alright, so there's the apartment. See, it didn't export too, that's another bug. So the reason I'm getting this many bugs is because I've pretty much done, over the course of a couple of weeks, I've done a total rewrite of this. The backend is now using React, and so I'm having to kind of rebuild everything, and it's actually worked really well as far as the structure of the game and stuff like that, but I'm having to find all the places I've forgotten to update, which is not too much of a problem. So let's start with that bug. Map editor maps. All right, so where's the delete function? All right, so what we want to do here is that. So actually we do want to update, or we do want to export. Let's do that. And then, so that was one bug. Where was the other one? Encounter tile. Dot reset. So what I want to check here is if there are no battlers on. What's up, Jason? If there are no. Yeah. Boom. So that'll check, are there actually any battlers on this map? So if there's an encounter tile and it's trying to find a monster, and there's not one, then it'll just, you won't run into a monster basically. So that should fix that. So let's see. Let's see what is broken now. Oh yeah, you might have to watch on desktop. Why is that? Delete. 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 Alright, so now we've got like a really small game here. Alright, so I want to add a battler. Be a water elemental level 2. Let's see. So that one's not updating. There you go. So that's the next bug. Let's go to editor battlers. Yeah, I haven't looked at this one in a while, so let's see what's wrong here. Input. Yeah, we don't want this. We don't want default value, we want value. So that's a React thing. We want value and then on change. So that means the value of that input field will only update when it's saved. And that's part of why I'm not including much in the DOM at a time. So like this object editor does not exist in the DOM until you click on it, and then the map editor goes away. So there's very little in the DOM at a time, and it's just updating a game object in memory in the background. So let's see, on input change value, that looks good. See what delete battler does. Interesting. So we're going to change the way we do this. So I've changed conventions a couple of times now. And it keeps getting better and better each time, I think. We'll find out, I guess. But, so this is the way I do it now. I don't keep anything too much in state, really. I keep it all in that big game object in memory, basically. So, gotta update the way this works. Everything else looks good. I think I fixed that function. Yeah, that looks good. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. All right. So what happens in on input change? Okay. That might be okay for now. Let's see. Let's try it again. Delete the map. Delete the map. Delete the map. Get rid of it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Alright, that's all gone. Let's go to battlers. Oh, error already. Look at that. Right. Of course. So I'm getting rid of all these references to state because I took that out of state. Oh my. This is a long variable to paste over and over. I might store this in a temporary variable or something, because that might actually be slower to do it this way. Cool. Alright, so that should fix that. Let's see what's next. Cool, so I can only switch to the tab, so let's delete, get rid of all this stuff again, delete, 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 delete. Alright, all good. Let's add a battler now. Doesn't look like it's updating, so it needs to export. I see. That's the problem. So I've got this on input change update, and I need to do editor map. No, let's see. What do we need to do? We need to export. So how can we do that? Editor.export. I think I have access to that. I wonder if I should debalance that. That might be better because you might be typing it. Yeah, we should debalance that. All right, so we need to pass that down since I'm exporting. This is making me wonder if I shouldn't change the way I'm exporting. I wonder if I should just debalance export in the background. Let's see. Maybe I can make a function called debalance export. That could be good. All right, well, for now, let's see. What am I in? I'm in map editor battlers. I have totally lost my place. Let's see. Select the tab, map. Oh, it's going to be in the map editor, isn't it? Here we go. So we want to throw this in there. Actually, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually write a debounce export, because I think I'm going to need this in more than just this place. So this can be static, which is nice. Debounce export. So we want to give it its own debounce timer. Cool. Excuse me. So we're going to make this one a little slower, because exporting takes a little bit of time, so I don't want it happening as quickly. I mean, it's happening in here too, but I don't really use this one too much. So that, I think, looks good. Cool. So now what I can do is in here, I can do editor.debounce export. Cool. So that'll update the map after half a second, basically. Let's see if that works. Any bets from anybody? You think it's going to work? All right, here we are in the apartment. Cool, so battlers. Add new battler. There it is, that worked. So now, if I go here and I add a layered encounter tile on the below layer, and I make it this dude, boom. Hopefully, I can get this to load. And we can play. We can fight him, a little monster. There, look at that. There it is. It works. Awesome. Boom. Yeah, he's level 2. I can take him out in one hit. Got a little bit of experience. And there we go. So that works. Cool. So warps is, let's see, add new warp. Boop. There you go. So there's another one that's having trouble. That one's probably simple. I bet you anything I did the same thing. So we're gonna map better to warps. And then figure out where I'm not updating, because that's probably what it is. Yeah, there we go. That'll fix that. Cool. So I'm guessing this one has the same problem. Yeah, it does. So I'm gonna go here. Then we go to set state. This will force a re-render. Cool. What else? I think this one's fine. Yeah, we just did this one, right? Yeah, that looks good. Characters. That one's good. All right. So that should make that work. So now if I go back to, let's go to apartment, characters, no, we want warps. Add new warp. Oh, okay, so that means that I don't have an on change listener on those. Yep, there we go, there's the problem. That's easy enough. So if I go to on change, and then just add that on the other inputs. All right, let's add one here. Cool. Where is on input change? Let's find that. That one looks good. Let's check these other ones to make sure they have that too. Yeah, this one's missing it too, so on input, on change, and on change. Then we're gonna go here. Cool. So now, actually, here's another thing I'm noticing. On this button, I need to have an on click, which is like delete sign. I don't have that. Let's see. So I have add new sign. Ah, see, this was another one I need to update. Cool. Okay, so this is another one of these really cool helper methods I like. Boom. So the target is like this. And then all right, so the key is I. This is just a word that describes it. That'll appear in the pop-up message. And the callback should be update. Yeah, look at that. That's good. Here's another thing that, yeah, that says props update. I think that's right. Cool. Yay, that should be good. So now let's add a sign. So I'm going to go to brush, I'm going to go to below, I'm going to make it solid, and I'm going to add, let's put it on the wall. How about that? There, now there's a sign on the wall. So I'm going to make it a sign. So I'm going to go add new sign. All right, so this is at like what? 60? There. There, so I'll say this is an awesome poster. I see it in there. So now if I go to the game and I load this new one, then there's the sign. This is an awesome poster. There you go. Cool, that works. Let's make sure we can delete it. Yep, that looks good. Very cool. That's working well. That looks good. Now let's see if I can place a warp in the middle of the wall, or in the middle of the floor, and see if it'll warp me to where I think it's going to. There you go. That looks good. So warps are working, signs are working, battlers are working, events are working. We tested that one. I think characters work good. Well, there we go. Yeah, you can make him face different directions. Cool. All right, that is looking good. I think I already tested that. Yeah. So some of that is not shifting correctly. That's another thing I can fix. So let's add a new sign at like, so that's adding 2 signs. So let's see what's happening there. I bet you I know what I'm doing. I bet you I'm attaching. Yeah, we don't want this. So that's gone. And we don't want. Yeah, we don't want this anymore. Don't want that. Don't want that. Cool. So let's see. Looks like I wasn't shifting correctly. So if I select the apartment, let's just add a bunch of stuff like 5, 5. All right. Let's add a sign at 4, 5, and then an event at 3, 5. So you can see all 3 of these are right here. So cool. So if I resize the map, so it looks like the warp is the only one that didn't move. So that must not be shifting, I think. Let's see, which one wasn't moving? The green one's not moving. Yeah, so the warp isn't shifting. All right, let's make sure I still have shift defined in there. I do. So that means it's not getting called. So it's not doing it. I bet it's in map editor tiles then. Yeah, there it is. Oh, forgot to capitalize the W. Map editor warps. What do I call it in here? Oh, I must not be importing it then. That would do it. Cool. Easy enough. So now I need to make it static in here. Yeah. Looks good. Let's go to the apartments, add a warp. Add new warp. 5, 5. 4, 5. And 3, 5. Now if I resize it, yay. Everything shifts over correctly. That's awesome. That's a lot of bugs I just fixed. So how do I even commit that to get fix lots of bugs? Cool. That is looking pretty good. Any questions so far from anybody in chat? I see a couple people in here. I see Bone512 and Dub Nerd. Let me know if you have any questions. It looks like everything's working. That's awesome. Let's make sure it works in different directions too. Yep. That looks real good. Awesome. So we're getting somewhere. Cool. So one thing I'd like to do, another feature I'd like to add is if you click on, this for example, it shows you what tiles are there, but I'd also like it to show you that there's a character there or that there's a sign there or something like that. That would be really cool. Basically just more detailed tile info when you click on them. I think that'd be really helpful. And you can just edit them like in place. You don't have to go hunt for them through here. But that's for the future maybe. Cool. Let's see, how long have I been at? Almost an hour. So let's see if we can turn off highlight special tiles. Yeah, look at that. That's what it'll look like when you're playing. Cool, that's a lot of bugs fixed. I'm happy with that. This is working pretty well now. All right, cool. Well, I think I'm going to stop there for tonight. I'm going to save those changes. If you're interested, the GitHub, there should be a link to the GitHub below, as well as you can play with the editor and the player down there. And I'll try to keep streaming more, and let me know what you think if you do check it out.